Good morning. The Democratic National Convention wraps up in Chicago. Kamala Harris making history as the first Black and Asian woman to lead a major party ticket. Harris used her acceptance speech to present herself as a pragmatic leader, someone who could unite Americans behind a new way forward. She called her opponent, Donald Trump, an unserious man who would threaten democracy and further divide the country.
Let me play the clip of Kamala Harris accepting the nomination.
On behalf of my mother and everyone who has ever set out on their own unlikely journey, on behalf of Americans like the people I grew up with, people who work hard, chase their dreams, and look out for one another, on behalf of everyone whose story could only be written in the greatest nation on earth, I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
So you can kind of get the sense during that build-up that that's where that was headed. And then I want to play part of the closing portion of her speech.
It is now our turn to do what generations before us have done, guided by optimism and faith, to fight for this country we love, to fight for the ideals we cherish, and to uphold the awesome responsibility that comes with the greatest privilege on earth, the privilege and pride of being an American.
So obviously, the themes of patriotism played a big part and love of country in her speech and, of course, throughout this convention. I think there were three things that were most notable from this convention as a whole. The attacks on Trump, which dominated the convention, the show of patriotism and love of country, USA chants, things like what Kamala Harris just said there. And then I think there was a very concerted effort, more so in this convention than in the Republican convention, to make the case to swing voters. And one of the things I think they were trying to do as they're reintroducing her to the American people, and look, let me reiterate, you can believe this, you can think it's all a bunch of BS. I'm not telling you what to think about it. I'm just telling you what they were trying to do here. I think they were trying to reintroduce her and make the case that it's okay to vote for her, that she's not radical, that she's not nuts. And this is similar to what Democrats and the party attempted to do back in 2008 with Barack Obama, somebody who the American people didn't really know. Now, he was more unknown than she is. She's been vice president for a couple of years. But when you look at it, people don't have necessarily firm views on her. That's why her favorability numbers have shifted so much recently. So she is kind of like bursting onto the scene right now, and there's that chance to redefine her. I think those three things were the big goals of this convention, and that's why I think it was a successful convention, because they accomplished all of those things that they were trying to do. Now, does that mean she's going to win the election? No. And does that mean, a lot of people listening right now buy into what the Democrats were selling? No. But I think that was their goal, and I think they executed pretty well.
She looks spectacular. I mean, I saw Trump earlier in the week talking about how he's better looking than Kamala Harris.
That's right.
And he's just not going to win that argument.
I did not like... What did you guys think of the background for her speech? The 8 American flags, and yes, there were 8 behind her. Oh, yeah. I like that, obviously, but that brown wall, I guess they were maybe trying to make it courtroom-ish.
Oh, maybe that's what they were going for. Yeah, I didn't really think too deep into it.
Yeah, that's looking pretty deep there, right?
Yeah.
I was looking deep
into
all
that.
of this. I was trying to pay attention to every last detail.
I think in many ways she was trying to go for that traditional let's fire up the
conservative
country.
message.
Maybe so.
Because some of it felt like that.
But it was like a turn away from where the Republicans were going and Trump's 90-minute speech.
Yeah.
Where everyone was expecting unity. Remember, after the assassination, people thought he was going to come out and unite the country. He didn't do that.
Well,
he went back into what he usually talks
about.
about.
The first part, he did a really, really good job, and you had hope. And then at some point halfway through, it just kind of trailed off into the usual nonsense.
And he kept going, whereas she wrapped up 37 minutes. It was not a long speech.
No.
It didn't need to be. There is nobody who ever says, oh, my God, that speech was so fantastic. I wish they had gone for another 45 minutes.
Right, exactly.
Less is more with these things. I do think, and I think this is something that Trump probably both understands and respects a bit as someone who is a master of branding. When you think back to the Hillary Clinton campaign, you think of "I'm with her."
Yes.
Awful slogan. And then Joe Biden, I don't even know if Joe Biden had a slogan. You've got two that the Harris campaign has really hammered home, and I think they're pretty good. We're not going back.
Yes, I heard that one a lot.
Even though she's literally, in office right now. I mean, you could point that out, but whatever. And we fight, we win.
Yes, that one they did a lot too. The chants and all of it.
Simple, easy to digest, things that the crowd can participate with. It's like Make America Great Again.
I think freedom was in there too.
Yeah. But those two slogans, it's stuff like that helps with a campaign to help
and a lot of
sell
people
a message.
brought that in.
Right. And Trump, he's fantastic at that. This is the first time I've seen somebody go up against him who kind of has something, you know what I mean, that you would expect him to have. So I thought that was interesting, too.
It just seems like he wasn't prepared for Harris to take over the way she did. He was ready to go for Biden. He's still talking about the same issues with Biden in his speeches that he did when Biden was still the candidate.
Yeah.
And so it shows he hasn't pivoted to an effective message on Harris.
And
I think
surprised.
he feels like he was wronged by what happened.
Well, he's disappointed.
Yeah, the way he talks about it, though, it's like it was personal against him.
Yeah, he had this thing wrapped up and looked like it was going to be a landslide, and then everything changed. I think. And I don't know how the campaign was caught off guard that Biden dropped out. I mean, I was saying it for how many weeks before it actually happened that it was coming. But I think what they're really surprised about is the energy that Kamala Harris as the nominee has created. And I think her performance up to this point has caught a lot of people off guard because she's done pretty well. Now, she's got the toughest stuff ahead, the interviews, the debate, things like that.
Yeah.
But up
and
to
the
this
attack
point,
ads and everything else.
Oh, yeah, they're coming.
They're coming. Yeah. Now, the problem for Trump, though, is he's got to come up with, like you said, a coherent message. The theme of the country's gone to hell is not working.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to. You certainly have to make the case that you don't want to stick with the status quo. But I think he's going to have to start to mix in some things that offer people hope and uplift them and sell that message. And look, he is what he is, but a little focus here. And he can do it because in 2016, in that stretch run towards the end, when you had Kellyanne Conway running the campaign and all of that, he was more focused there towards the end and helped propel him to victory. Right now, he's been a little
but I think you can give Trump all the strategy you want. He's going to do what he wants to do. He's probably got a team of people around him telling him what to do, and he's doing whatever he wants.
Right. He needs some Red Bull, too. That appearance in Michigan the other day, I mean, he was putting people to sleep.
Well, I'm going to play a clip of him yesterday. Yeah, not as forceful as we've seen in the past. But look, the campaign really kicks off now with Labor Day right around the corner. A lot of people, they paid attention. I mean, the ratings have been really good for the convention, but things really get going after the Labor Day holiday.
No doubt.
All right, real quick, because I teased this a minute ago. Starting this weekend, another tax holiday.
That's right. I mean, we don't have hurricanes to deal with right now, but that doesn't mean we should let down our guard.
I'm off next week, Chris.
Well, we're heading into the peak of the season. Nice timing.
You know
what that means.
Next Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, next Thursday and Friday, we're going to have a major hurricane hit Florida. Just
a reminder, the tax-free holiday starts tomorrow. It runs through Friday, September 6th. All the items that we're used to, portable generators, batteries, ground anchors, tarps, and even some pet items like pet kennels, pet carriers, dry dog and cat food.
There you go.
Like
those are things that people may not think about until the storm arrives.
Yep.
But, you need to have that stuff bought in advance in case we get hit.
All right, Chris Strankman with today's top stories. Chris, thanks so much.
Thank you.